Hi, I can't believe autumn is upon us already, but then the fall is probably the best month to sink your teeth into all those TBRs that you really wanted to clear. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Harry's Book Cafe. Today we're going to talk about the best books for the fall or for autumn. I have quite a long TBRs prepared for this particular episode. Do take note though that the following books does not apply to the month of October for obvious reasons. October is a special month and I have prepared quite a lot of creepy books just for October alone. So the following books are really designed for the month of September and November. So without further ado, let's dig in. So the first book I want to read and have been wanting to read for quite a long time is The Water Girls. Look at that cover. I love this cover. It's just amazing. In fact, I'm trying to get the book on hardback for within the UK, but I'm not having a lot of luck. They are either too expensive or they're not in a good condition. So I managed to get this one from the Netherlands. It recently just arrived. So I'm looking forward to reading this one. So this is about a pandemic, a bit like the one that we have experienced recently. However, the pandemic described in the book is much more severe than the COVID. So this is about two girls. They are in a boarding school somewhere in a remote island, so they cut off from the rest of the world, and they were told by the government to stay put and waiting to rescue. As soon as they invent this vaccine, they'll come and rescue the girls. Unfortunately, this disease is much more severe, so at first the teachers start to die, and then some of the students follow suit. And this disease can be quite grotesque. It makes you grow extra stuff on your face, on your body. It really turns into a twisted non-human, and it's very interesting. And this book has often been compared to The Lord of Flies with the all-female cast. So I'm looking forward to reading this one. Very interesting. The next one, just for a little bit of laugh, autumn, you know, just to have a little bit of laughter, and that's Bill Bryson's Notes from the Big Country. I read many Bill Bryson books and have enjoyed most of them. He's hilarious. It's a very warm American sense of humor, which I really like. So this book is about his native country, the US, and he's traveling through the country, the funny encounters that he has experienced. It's all in this book. So they have been quite often described as one of the funniest Bill Bryson books ever. So I'm looking forward to reading that. The only thing I don't like about Bill Bryson is his very liberal use of adverbs and adjectives, which can be a little bit of a turn off, but other than that, perfect book. I'm looking forward to reading that one. I like to include a few non-fiction books with my TBRs, just because non-fiction offer a completely different perspective than fictions, and I like the idea of learning new knowledge and absorbing them and feeling enlightened in that sense. So the first non-fiction is The Medieval Body. Check out this cover. Absolutely stunning. So this one is published by the Wellcome Collection. For those of you who are based in London and you haven't already, please go check it out. A Wellcome edition, collection somewhere in Euston on that main road. It's a free gallery and a museum. I've been with my daughter quite a few times, and it's crazy place. It has some really interesting displays, dead bodies or bodies in different stage of opening up. It's really interesting. There's quite a lot of interesting sort of sculptures that's thought-provoking for sure, and there were a few African and Asian masks with little explanations underneath. That's really interesting. I enjoy Wellcome Collection tremendously, so really should check it out. So this book is published by the Wellcome Collection and is about our medieval ancestors' understanding or misunderstanding of human bodies, and how that knowledge or misconceptions gradually developed into the medicinal understanding that we have today. So it's quite interesting, and it's full of illustrations within, and some of them can be quite macabre. So for instance, this one here, check out that. Yeah, so very interesting. Looking forward to widen my knowledge in that sense. The next one could actually be an October issue, but then again, I can't wait for that long. So this one is called Horrorstor, and as you can see, it is designed to look like a IKEA catalog, and even when you open the first couple pages, it maintains that perception for you, and it's amazing concept. So this story is about a furniture store where the employees turn up every morning and they find things that were broken just for no reason whatsoever. They checked CCTV footage, they couldn't find out how or why those are broken. So 3 employees decided to stay overnight and just to find out the reason, and they shouldn't have, because lurking in that store is something supernatural. And like all Grady Hendrix books, it mixed horror with humor. So I'm really looking forward to reading this one. The other books that I read from the same author is the Southern Club's Guide to Slay Vampires. I don't remember much about the storyline, but I do remember reading that many years ago and really enjoyed the writing and the story development. So I'm looking forward to reading this catalogue of a book. What a great concept this is. The next non-fiction is Into the Wild. This one has been made in a movie many years ago. I have read the book, I have watched the movie, but then again, that's many years ago. I really want to go back and reread this. So it's about this young man who it's really sort of had enough of the modern world, and he wants to live along, inspired by this philosopher here. He wants to live in the wilderness of Alaska just by himself, and largely he was successful. Unfortunately, he dies at the end from food poisoning. So bit of a sad ending, but other than that, it's really well written. I want to reread this one. So that's the end of all the physical books. The rest of the TBRs are based entirely on Kindle, and the first one is the one that I'm actually in the middle of reading. I reached about 50%, and that's Dan Brown's Inferno, and that's part of the Da Vinci Code books. So it's the last fourth one, Last Instrument. So the story is entirely based in Florence, one of my favorite cities, and I've learned so much about the art, Dante's Divine Comedy, Inferno. Very interesting. So this Professor London, wake up in the hospital, lost 2 days memory, and realize someone wants to kill him, and he has to use everything he knows, all his wits, to actually stay alive and find out why he is being chased and killed. To stay on Italian theme, the next novel is Maggie O'Farrell's Marriage Portrait. So Maggie O'Farrell, as you probably know, is very famous for her Hamlet book, which was published 2 years ago, which I read. It's about William Shakespeare's wife and her take of marrying a most famous writers, and it's really fantastic novel. I read that one and I enjoyed it tremendously. In fact, it won the Women's Prize for 2022. Unfortunately, this one, Marriage Portrait, didn't win the 2023 Women's Booker Prize. Sorry, not Women's Prize, Fiction Prize. That was taken by the Demon Copperhead. So the Marriage Portrait came up second place. So I'm looking forward to reading this one. This is about a prince of Italy taking his wife to a remote castle north of the country. Upon arriving at the castle, the wife realized that her husband actually wants to kill her, and she has to do everything to stay alive. So very interesting concept, based in actual history. So looking forward to reading that one. The next one is another fiction, and that's Prince Harry's Spare. So this book needs no introduction. Everybody knows how famous this one is and how controversial it is. I bought the book on Kindle edition. I haven't read it yet, so I'm looking forward to actually reading that. The next one is Ah, Stephen King. So there's no season that you can't go by without reading from the actual master himself. So I haven't read many Stephen King books recently. I read nearly all of his old books, even the Dark Tower series. I find his recent books much better than these older ones. Maybe because the newer installations are more crime than horror, so they are more plausible in a way. Anyway, so the new book is the book I want to read is Billy Summers, and that's about this assassin who is on his last assignment, and things go wrong. So quite interesting concept. I'm really looking forward to reading that one too from the master of horror. The next one is The Drowning by J.W. Newman. I don't know about the writer. And I never really come across this book before. I was book browsing in Waterstones in Piccadilly the other day, and I saw this hardback copy of this book, and I thought, wow, that looks really fantastic. I read the blurb and I wanted to buy one, except the hardback is like 15 quid. On Kindle it's 99p, so I bought the on Kindle version. So it's about this plane who crash landed on Atlantic Sea, and it starts sinking. And it's race against time to actually rescue these people before the oxygens run out. So that really resonant with what happened recently with the submarine or the submersible happened recently. So it resonated with that quite a lot. So I thought, okay, let's give it a try. And on Google reviews, it seems to be, sorry, not Google reviews, Amazon reviews, it's lots of 5 stars and very tense. So I'm looking forward to reading that one. The next one is, I think that's it. Oh, no, last non-fiction, and that's James O'Brien's How They Break Britain. For those of you probably already know about James O'Brien, he's the most successful radio talk show host here in the UK with 1.4 million followers on LBC between 10 to 1 every weekday morning. I'm a huge fan of James O'Brien. He's such a sharp mind. He tells the truth when the rest of the media tend not to. So if you haven't already, check out his radio show on LBC every weekday 10 to 3. So he has published 2 books already, which I've bought and read and really enjoy it. So this one is the third latest one. It hasn't been published yet. It will be published somewhere in the middle of November, which I have already pre-ordered. So I really want to get that book and read that and just broaden my mind even further. Oh, and I forgot, there is a last one, and it's called The Grotesque. No, sorry, The Gallatin. Gallatin? Yes. So this again is about apparently based on real history of this peasant, a French peasant, who, according to legend, has eaten everything from rats to knife and fork. So this is a fictionalized account of his life in France. So I'm looking forward to reading that. That will be published, I think, somewhere in the middle of this month. Again, I pre-ordered the hardback edition, even though it's a little bit more expensive than Kindle. But look at the cover; it's just an amazing cover. So I ordered that, and I'm looking forward to reading that one as well. That's pretty much it, guys. That's the August and November TBR. As I said before, the October one is going to be quite special, and that's pretty much all horror and crime and all that sort of good stuff. So October, I'm going to do it separately when a month come along. But yeah, that's it. Have you read any of these books, or are you planning to read some of these? Please let me know down below in the comment sections, so we can have a nice discourse, debate, discussion about all the matters book related. Anyway, guys, please give it a thumb up and subscribe to this channel. It really helped me out tremendously. Until next time, cheerio.